Well, hi, everybody. I'm Tim Herron, the CEO here at Degrees of Change. Thank you for joining us on this live stream on Giving Tuesday. I want to introduce a couple of friends and colleagues of mine. So I'll let Maria and Gabby introduce themselves.
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Maria Babko. I am a current junior at University of Washington, Tacoma. I am a double major now. I am a computer science major and a communications major, as well as an innovation and design minor. It's a lot of schoolwork. I was a previous seed intern over this last summer, and I actually worked at Degrees of Change as a data analyst, and now I'm back at Degrees of Change doing seed internships program intern. That's the official title. So
Lots of roles at Degrees of Change.
yes, they can't keep me away.
Look forward to hearing more. Gabby?
Hi everyone, I'm Gabby. I am an Act 6 alum. I went to Northwest University, graduated in May with my bachelor's in business administrations and a minor in political science. Hopefully going to law school one day. And yeah, now I work here at Degrees of Change as our program recruiter, which is amazing.
Well, it's good to have you guys both here. Thank you for joining me. I want to tell you a little bit about what we're up to at Degrees of Change, and then we're just going to have some conversation here about these folks' experience in our programs and also what drew them back to work with us. So looking forward to having a conversation. We'll also be open to taking some questions in the chat. So if you have questions, you can send them along. Those will get relayed to us. So at Degrees of Change, we're in the business of investing in diverse homegrown leaders and walking with those leaders through college and into their careers. We do that because we believe that really the best way to transform our communities is to invest in homegrown folks who love their community, equip them with the tools they need to have a meaningful career, but also to come back and invest in those communities. So that's what we're up to. We have two primary ways that we do that. As you heard, we have Act 6. That's a scholarship program. We send students in cohorts to college together. And then we have our seed internship program that connects students with meaningful professional career opportunities for 10-week paid summer internships that helps launch them on their way to a career. So we also have, all kinds of exciting stuff that we're dreaming about. I'll just say we're really excited. This last summer, as part of Maria's cohort, we had 35 interns. This year, we're looking to double that. And continue growing the reach of seed. And we're also looking forward to continuing to invest in now 20 years of Act 6 and to see more graduates like Gabby come back and invest in their community. So tell you what, why don't we start off with just some questions for you two? And maybe we'll start with you, Maria.
Okay.
When you think back at your last summer as an intern, a seed intern, what stands out the most to you about your experience in the program?
I would say when I think about seed itself, it really, it was one of the most unique internship experiences. And that really came in the form of the extra professional development sessions that we had every Friday. I've done other internships before. And of course, you go to work, you're working with your team. And I got that experience this summer, but I also got that experience of every Friday, we were going to go to Tacoma. I got to meet up with the other seed interns. I got to hear how their experiences were going. It was really interesting to kind of have that outside perspective of maybe like how I'm working at my job, or maybe I'm like, ooh, that architecture internship sounds really cool. Because I think personally, like, I don't really know where I'm settling down yet. So for me, it was a really good experience to kind of see all the different types of internships that there could be and hear firsthand just kind of how those people are doing, what are they doing, and also just getting advice on what I could be doing better at my internship and stuff. So it was a really great experience. So I am back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like you got your internship experience that you got paid for and that you went to every day, but you also had this chance where you came back and in some ways got the value of 34 other internships that you got to hear about and take away some learnings from.
Yeah, 100%. I would say it really just was one of a kind experience for me, because I've had where it feels a lot more isolated, and it was really nice to kind of have just other people that are also interns like me, because all the other internships, like, I've done like pretty small teams, and you have your team of 5, and you're just doing your thing, and you're usually the only intern. And it was really nice being able to just talk to other interns and be like, guys, I didn't do really well at, communicating this week. I messed up on a task for my supervisor and I got really scared to message him. Like, what should I have done better? And it was nice getting the support, not only from the other seed interns, but also from the seed coordinators. Melissa and Andrew were really great. I love them. They were amazing. So,
Cool. Well, Gabby, how about you? So first of all, congratulations. Just graduated from Northwest University with a bachelor's degree. That's exciting. That's a big milestone. But talk to us about what stands out when you look back on 4 years of Act 6.
Yeah, I think my answer is honestly the same. You talked about earlier how Act 6, you send them with a cohort, and there's cohorts in all years. So from seniors, juniors, freshmen, and sophomores, obviously. And coming in as a freshman, I was really afraid to go to college. College is so scary. But having those 6 other people with me was the most comforting thing, from crying in their room to, hey, I know me and you take this class together, help me. Like, there's somebody in the class that actually knows me, and we went through training together. We know each other personal. But not only that, we get together as cohorts, as everybody, and there were seniors there that would help us with our writing. And it was amazing because I was like, okay, I have a senior that knows what they're doing, and I don't know how to write a college paper. So it was comforting to have that person there. And also juniors that were like, I'm leaving my nanny job. Do you want a job? Like, there were so many open opportunities with just having them there. And I think that was just my biggest highlight, of having that relationship that you guys offered and we took.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, so now you are kind of in some ways on the other side of the curtain, right? You're working on the team now, helping to recruit our next class of Act 6 scholars. So tell us a little bit about that decision to come back and what has you excited in the work you're doing now.
Yeah, so I met our national director at Phase 3 last year when I was a senior. I was helping run Phase 3 by myself with another cadre mate because our director was out. So he was like, you guys take care of it. So I met him there, and I guess I made a good impression because he called me back and was like, hey, we need help recruiting. Are you available? And I was like, yes, let's do it. And he's like, we're going to pay you. And I was like, okay, I was down to do it either way. Like, I'm for it. And it was because I know how much Act 6 poured into me, and I'm so excited for other people to get poured into as well. So I was like, I'm craving for people to apply for this and like get to be so excited like how I am about the scholarship and the program itself. So it's a lot of fun.
Okay. Maria, how about you? You're back as well, right? So interesting, because you also were part of Seed Internships, but your internship was actually working at Degrees of Change on our Guided Insight team. So you had that, but now you're back on the Seed program team, right? So
how is that? Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I had applied for the 3 different work studies when I was coming here, but my ultimate goal really initially was to be working with Seed, just because I had such an amazing experience over the summer, and I really wanted to let other people know that, like, hey guys, this is a really cool internship program. I think a lot of times, especially now that I'm doing another major, you can really see that, like, people out, especially the humanities majors, they don't really try to push internships as much. It's more participate in the classes and stuff. But I think it's really important to kind of really give across that message of, hey, internships are something that everyone should be doing in college. And what's really great about Seed is that we have all these different types of internships, because I think a lot of times you have really computer science based internships, and it really helped to kind of just be sharing my story more. I think has been the funnest part, because that people can talk to Melissa, who's our main Seed coordinator that I work with, but a lot of people are really interested in being like, okay, like, why did you do the program? What did you get out of it? And it's been really nice just to share my story and to be just really explaining why I had such a great time and what I got out of it and what I decided to do with my life afterwards, which I think was really important to talk to about to people.
Well, there's a theme there that I want to pick up a little bit, because both of you are alumni of the program. You've gone through the programs, impacted you, and are now back trying to finding ways, actually doing ways to give back and propagate those programs. That's been really important to us at Degrees of Change. On our board of directors, so my bosses, we have 4 graduates of our Act 6 program who are helping to provide the top level leadership to the organization. We've had alongside of you two, we have a number of other times up to 10 different graduates working with us on the team here. So of course, everyone who's a part of our team brings their unique skills, and our graduates though have just a unique way that they come back and can provide that kind of insight you were just talking about. I'd love though, let me frame a question too. So in addition though to just helping Act 6 graduates earn their degree or seed interns find their way into their first career, we talk a lot about at Degrees of Change about this idea of kind of leading and working on behalf of communities for a broader change. So maybe either of you could just say a little bit about, as you went through the program, how is your thinking about what role you have to play in the broader community? How has that shaped your influence, or how have you been thinking about that as you get ready to kind of launch careers?
I could definitely answer that. Like I mentioned before, Act 6, we have this training before we go into college. And I thought I wanted to just open my own business. And then going through that training, I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about my interests, about like what I actually like to do. And I was like, you know what, I actually want to go to law school, and I want to help my community here. I know downtown Tacoma has a detention center, so just going there and talking to people. And there was a lot of growth of me personally as a leader and what I want to do through Act 6. And then that's what I want to do. I want to take those next couple steps of like going to law school. How can I get there? How can the community help me get there? How can I help the community back when I'm there? So there's like that aspect.
Yeah, I guess for me, my internship was at Degrees of Change, and this was my first time working for a nonprofit, and it really gave me a lot of insight just into what it's like. And I really enjoyed it. I kind of, as a computer science major, most people have.
It's a great major, by the way. I just need to say, being a computer science major myself. So, carry on.
I would say a lot of times it's pushed, to go for the big companies, Google, Facebook, Amazon. And for a long time, I didn't really have much interest in that. And for me personally, one of the big values that I come in with and that I'm trying to lead with as I'm continuing with life is having that sense of helping people. And, I did tutoring in the past. I tutored little kids with computer science. I tutored biology, and I really enjoyed that. And I think for a while I was taking internships that didn't really fulfill that need, and I had to kind of reassess where I was going with my life. And being able to intern at Degrees of Change really kind of opened that door to nonprofits and that world. And it's just so incredible to be looking at these programs and seeing just what an impact it is on with people and their lives. And I was like, that's really the joy of it. I think a lot of times, especially computer science majors, the money thing is really pushed, but I really want to find that balance for me personally. And having this experience over the summer really got me to see, like, I would like to enjoy my job and make a difference, as well as I don't think being the top dollar is really what it's made out to be. So,
yeah. Right.
Yeah. Well, let me, as you both are talking, one of the unique things the gifts I think that I've had as the founder of the organization, been on this journey for 20 years with Act 6, is having the opportunity to know literally hundreds of Act 6 graduates, and now dozens of seed graduates, and to watch what just the incredibly diverse ways that they put their degrees and their kind of passion for their community to work. So whether that is educators, or whether it's those that are working in tech but are bringing new perspectives and pushing companies to think about how they can be more inclusive and how they can better work for the vibrant communities that we're about here at Degrees of Change. So I think what's really exciting about our work is that we invest in leaders and leave it up to those leaders to find their way in the world to make those contributions, right? And it looks so different across people and across the careers they choose.
I just had a question for Maria. I know that you talked about just like the process. How did that process look like to you in the seed internship?
Just the application process, you would say?
Or all of it.
All of it. Just go for it.
Give me it all.
Yeah. This is what I do. This is my recruitment process. Yeah, I mean, I had first heard about Seed back in early February, I think. One of my professors had emailed about it, and I was like, wow, I've never heard of this program before. But what really stood out to me was the fact that I'd already been applying to places and getting rejected, and it was a little depressing. But I really liked Seed in the fact that I was like, oh, you can apply to one thing, and there's all these different opportunities that open up. Because for me, especially, I had a lot of different things on my resume, so I kind of had like possibilities of multiple. And I think with Seed, it was like kind of letting them decide where they're going to put me in each basket. And from there, I'd applied. There was 2 essay questions and then a resume. I had applied in early February. It was like right on the deadline. And I was really scared I wasn't going to apply in time, but I did. So it was good. It was good. Then, yeah, a couple weeks later, I heard back that I was invited to the interview event. There was a group interview. It was actually on my campus at UW-Tacoma, and that went really well. I was really nervous because I hadn't done an in-person interview before, actually, I think. Everything was online.
Can I interrupt you right there? Because say just a little bit, we've built that to be a little bit different, right? So what are the things that are different that helped you, whether you had gotten the internship or not? Because I think that's part of the unique play.
Well, I think one of the most surprising things was I got the questions beforehand, and I was like, "Oh my God, did they mean to do this?" I was like accidentally emailed.
Accident.
And for me, I was able to prep my questions really well, and it was really nice in the sense that like I could prep a little more. And I think they even in the email right before the interview event happened, they really said, hey, this is specifically, even if you don't make it to the next thing, like this is great practice for interviews. They were going to give feedback at the end of it, which they did. Each interview section, it was like you had a group of people, so you could hear how other people are interviewing as well, which was a whole other experience. I've never done that before. And it was really cool because the interviewer guy that we had, he was really chill, and he really tried to keep us calm. And yeah, gave really great advice at the end. Gave some tips on like how better we could have answered a question or maybe highlighted a certain thing on a resume. And I never had really gotten that from other interviews before. It was more like a done deal, and then you move on, and you got rejected or you got accepted. And so it felt really personal, and it was really nice just because it really felt like you're not just some cog in the machine, but like kind of that each person is getting something out of this experience, even if they don't move on to the next point, which is really cool.
I completely messed up not applying for the internship. I should have done it. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
That was gonna be my question. Yeah. Why did you apply?
I don't have an excuse as to why I didn't apply. I have no excuse. I had cadre mates that did it, and they loved it. They would not stop talking about everything they're learning. They talked about hanging out on Fridays, like how you mentioned, and I was like, man, I'm having a lot of FOMO here. I wish I'd have done that. I have no excuse. I should have done it. There was so much growth in theirs, and there's growth in you. Awesome.
Yeah, I think people get really overwhelmed with school and classes that are happening, so it's hard to even just find time to do internship processes. I know I did not apply as many. My parents were like, go, keep applying. I'm like, I'm trying to pass my classes here. So it is overwhelming. That's why I think I really respect Seed and the fact that, at least you're getting so much out of it just to do one application, which is really great. Because I think some other applications takes a while, and then you go through like 7 interviews, and they're like, you're rejected. And I'm like, I wasted so much time doing that. So I think you get so much out of just even at each step, you're always getting some sort of feedback, even if you didn't move on to that next step, which I think is really nice.
That's great. I would just say one of the things about our work at Degrees of Change. So we provide these programs. We're supporting students on the journey through college. We're supporting interns in their careers, but we're also trying to think about how do the systems work, and are there ways that, particularly for students who have various barriers that make things perhaps more difficult to access, who don't have the uncle who runs a firm who invites you to just show up and be an intern. So we're thinking about that. We're trying to think about what are the ways that we can make those processes and systems work better for our students. So that began in Act 6 with the question of why do students have to go make this big leap to an environment, to a campus that probably feels very, very different than their really diverse city high school, for example. Why do they need to do that by themselves? And what if they could go with a built-in support system? Think of Seed, as you just mentioned. You know, the challenge is like, you want to apply to 20 internships, you got to go find them, you got to peruse the websites, you got to fill out multiple applications providing the same information again and again. So that was part of the design, is could we just build a single application and even do some of that matching to land you at a place where you get to interview with an employer that's ready and says this is a good match. So that's some of how we try and think about our work here at Degrees of Change. How can we make the systems better?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's done. I think it's been doing a really good job. I think what from the recruiting process I've been doing over these last couple of weeks, I think a big question, especially for like younger undergrads, I've seen is that, you know, a lot of people aren't ready with like resumes or have never done experiences before. And I think it's really important to kind of stress the fact that there are systems built in like on campus where they can do that. I had one girl who, she was like, I just came, like she hadn't been in the US that long and she hadn't done a lot of stuff here, and she was like, I just don't know how to get help from stuff. So I think like being able to really just, well, I mean, campus by campus, it really makes sense, but I think being able to really point to where people can go for help. And you know, I had help from, you know, my older siblings to help me build a resume, and that was really great, or my parents, and not everyone has that. So being able to kind of show where you can get help, I think has been really important for me as I'm recruiting, be like, oh, we have our career center that does that, or we have, I think we have, DJ got the first generation office he's running, which I have been referring people to and stuff. So it's been really good just to know kind of those built-in ones on campus as well, to have that first step happen, at least for Seed.
Yeah.
Act 6 does the same thing. We have built-in campus directors that are always there for us. I make a joke when I'm recruiting also that I cried a lot in his office at my comfort, because you're far away from home, right?
Yeah.
You're going away without your parents, and it's scary, like how I mentioned before, but having that, called him my campus dad, but having that person that would feed us and would be there with us and give us those resume point of views of like, okay, maybe this isn't the right thing to put on there, let's remove it. Because I know sometimes it's intimidating to go by yourself to a career office, but if you know somebody like your director, it's more comforting in there, so available and willing to do anything to help you.
Yeah.
I think you guys did amazing by that too.
Well, we have a pretty incredible team that you've joined here, and folks working in all different parts of the organization to bring this together, which is part of, we're doing this live stream today, Giving Tuesday. It's a national day after our shopping days of Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Giving Tuesday is a national day about how do we encourage generosity and, you know, encourage and provide opportunity for folks to connect with meaningful work in the world that they want to support. So we're coming to you on Giving Tuesday, wanting to just, you know, connect with folks and give you the opportunity to support Degrees of Change programs like Act 6 and Seed, and ultimately the young people that emerge from those programs, like Abby Maria right here, and hundreds and hundreds of others who are landing in the community, doing amazing work, putting their degrees to use in powerful ways and making their communities really much stronger. That takes kind of a village. You hear the saying, but it's actually true.
Yeah.
That it takes a village, it takes a staff, but it also takes supporters like the folks on the live stream who care about this work and may do a whole bunch of things in their careers and their lives, but kind of giving and supporting Degrees of Change as a way to invest in folks like you and the folks that you're now supporting. So we're grateful for you to be here. I think we just have a few more minutes. I want to check if we have any questions. Oh, well, here's one. This might not be a terribly difficult one to answer given your role, but this just came in, I think. Would you recommend Seed or Act 6 to others?
Oh,
what do you think?
100%, 120%, 200%. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been talking about that the whole
Yeah,
time,
right.
but yeah, I mean, 100%. I mean, that's really the big reason why, you know, I wanted to come back, because I wanted to really talk about it. I already forced my friends to apply because they didn't apply with me last summer, and I was like, you were wrong, now you have to apply.
That's right. Now you've learned.
Now I've learned, and it's really good. Yeah, I mean, it's such an amazing experience. I've heard so many great things about Act 6 as well, and it's just, I think just the support that this company brings with these programs, it makes it so personal and so supportive, and you have good people around you to help you through a lot of these like tougher things. You know, college and internships are really hard to do.
Yeah.
And it's really great to have that support system built in with you as you're going through these journeys.
Yeah. To add on to that, a lot of the time scholars recruit without even being paid to recruit or
Right.
without even being told to recruit. It's just something that like they want other people to enjoy as they're enjoying as well. So I know when I was a freshman, I already knew I loved Act 6, and I was recruiting the seniors at the time. I was like, you have to apply for it. Like, it's worth it. And the scholars also were helping them read their essays. They were like, send them to me. I want to help you as much as I can. It's just something that people, like, once you've received it, you're like, I need to pour it out to other people. Like, this is the scholarship. This is the internship that needs to be said and needs to be told. And I know, to be biblical, if I'm allowed to be, that it says that iron sharpens iron, right? Like if you want to help another person, you gotta help them grow and you gotta sharpen it together. You can't do that by yourself, right? Like you can't sharpen each other if there's not another person to sharpen
Right.
and for the other way to do it. And I think you guys did amazing of having that community and like sharpening each other continuously, even after college. I still talk to my cadre. I'm here, working here, and you guys are doing the same thing to me.
That's great. Well, for all of you out there, some of you familiar with our work, some are being introduced and hearing these stories for the first time, but this is the joy that we get to celebrate every day as we walk with just amazing young people on through a really formative time of their lives. So on this Giving Tuesday, we're just inviting everybody to join with us to make an investment. We have opportunities for you to volunteer in really kind of simple but important ways if you want to show up at the office and help with some background tasks. But also we have events. We have an Act 6 event coming up. We have other things that we depend on volunteers. Maybe you want to bring a meal to a training, to a SEED professional development session, or an Act 6 training in the spring or the summer. So there's lots of ways. We just encourage you to visit our website, degreesofchange.org, and there's an opportunity there to both make a gift and to sign up for our mailing list. That's something we want you to do because we have an amazing new communications director, and we're getting out some really inspiring stories on a really regular basis. So the newsletter is probably the best way to keep up to date with Degrees of Change. And there's an opportunity to fill out a form and let us know that you're interested in volunteering and supporting in various ways. So I think we're closing in, but I think that was good. Anything else you want to say? You want to leave with folks before we sign off here?
Apply to SEED internship.
Yeah, so students that are listening.
Deadline
Yeah.
is soon.
That's right.
Act 6 closed already, right? Yeah, it's been a little bit. Yeah, deadline December 21st now. Or the deadline extension wasn't announced yet, but it's gonna be this week.
That's right. And just to say, employers, if you're thinking about or have ever considered SEED or hosting interns, it's a great way to get important projects done, but also to invest in a young professional, but also to find talent that you need to run your business. And so it's not too late. We're still recruiting employers to host SEED internships this summer. So you can reach out to us and we'll be glad to follow up there as we continue. We're really working hard to grow and hopefully more than double the number of SEED positions that we offer this summer. So
that's the hope.
All right. Well, I think we're at our time. It's been great. Thank you guys for joining me. It's great. Thanks, everybody.